I'm Craig Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact, focused on personal growth, my workbook series, The Knowledge, will help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
I'm Coach Margaret.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And today we're going to be talking about the secret of emotions.
Ooh.
Yes.
Well, we all feel them, whether
all
you try to or not. And many of you guys do not want to deal with your emotions or feelings because sometimes they're difficult.
Yep.
But Margaret's got some good research today for dealing with those things. Those nasty little things.
Those nasty little things called emotions.
Like happiness. Margaret, what do you got today?
Okay. What I got is some steps on how to come to terms with emotions. And just in general, I don't think that as a culture, as a country, as a crowd, we're all that comfortable with them. Okay? Most people consider it weak to have emotions, but strong not to show any.
Mm-hmm.
All right? And I want to challenge that idea. And I also want to point out that emotions are what makes life fun and what enriches life. So I'm going to try to make a case for that.
Okay.
Right? So the first thing to do is to name them. Now, something I read in the process of doing this said, you could use a feelings list. Well, if you look up feelings list on the computer, you will get reams and reams and reams of every feeling that was ever thought of by anybody who ever lived, and it's overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
I like to
That's
stay...
a feeling.
Yes, that's the... Oh, yes, it's overwhelming. Yes, that's a feeling. I like to stay with the basic 4 emotions. Happy, sad, mad, scared. Okay? Most of the other ones emanate from those one way or another. There are those who have 30 of them. 4 is about what I can handle. Mm-hmm. Okay? And what I think is practical. All right. So we feel an emotion. A lot of us immediately try to make it go away. That's what we've kind of been taught to do. We kind of make it go away. And of course, they won't go away. They go underground, but they stay there, and then they come back and get us somehow. So better to try and make friends with this emotion, okay? So the first thing you want to do is name it, all right? Name it. Happy, sad, mad, scared. Which one of those is closest, okay? I'm feeling really anxious about my ex-partner. Oh, that would come under scared. Mm-hmm. All right, am I going to get this person back or not? All right. It's also entirely possible that you're so disconnected from your own feelings or so accustomed to suppressing them that at first you might just feel nothing. And I've had people tell me that when I've said, the old joke about therapists, how do you feel about that? But when I have said it sincerely to people, some of them will say, lady, I don't feel anything. Okay? Well, it's never been safe for you to feel anything, so this is going to be a learning process. So sometimes we just shut them off in desperation. But that never works for any length of time. It can come out as anxiety, or it can come out in a lot of other disagreeable ways.
And this should also be encouragement to stay in therapy, because many people will go to 1 to 2 sessions
Right.
and not have enough time to feel that vulnerability and to let those emotions out. Right. And so then they'll be like, oh, therapy didn't really work for me.
Yep.
Sometimes you have to stick with it a little bit, and it will be uncomfortable
Right.
in order for those emotions to come up.
And certainly there are some therapists who push too hard. You know, if you're not ready to deal with the emotions yet, just tell me the story. You have the rest of your life to connect the emotions to the story. Mm-hmm. All right? And chances are, if you don't know what to do with your emotions, it's not your fault. You may have come from a family where emotions were not honored or expressed. And if that's the case, how would you know about them? As a society, we often give men in particular the idea that having emotions is somehow weak or unmanly. Women, too, have the same expectation. Recently, I heard somebody say to me, my mother is a very strong person. She showed no emotion when her mother died.
Wow.
Okay, and 3 months later, when she's still as depressed, you'll be concerned. Okay, so we think strong is not showing any emotions, and it's a bad message. Not experiencing emotions is dangerous. It can give you forms of heartburn you can't even imagine, and I mean that literally. It can literally give you indigestion, and fairly often the analogy is made between food and emotions. You have to digest food in order to be able to use it, and to some extent we have to think about emotionally digesting emotions, and they really can give you heartburn.
So you guys have probably had a family-sized portion of sadness right now that you're trying to
Absolutely.
digest.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Need some emotional Pepto-Bismol.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. Emotional Pepto-Bismol. Oh, I think we should call one of these little talks Emotional Pepto-Bismol. Okay. One of the first things you want to ask is, what is this emotion telling me? Spend a few minutes a day. Now, I know we're not all going to have time to do this, but if you can, spend a few minutes a day just sitting quietly and focusing on your body, trying to identify what you feel. Remember that we're very much mind-body connected, okay? In Western civilization, we've tried to separate them, but you can't, all right? So if you're feeling a strong emotion, chances are you're feeling it somewhere in your body, okay? So take a minute for yourself and just try to say, what am I feeling and where in my body am I feeling it?
Head to toe.
Head to toe, right, everywhere. Like I said, you can use a feelings list, but probably not a good idea. We're going to stay with the 4 basic emotions, okay? So the first thing is to identify the emotion. Chances are it's not happy, or we wouldn't have any trouble with it, okay? So it's probably going to be sad, mad, or scared. That's going to make us work hard.
And you made a really great comment earlier when we were talking about how even happiness can be a difficult emotion for people.
Yes, it can. If you've never seen anybody happy, if in some subtle or overt way you have been told you don't have a right to be happy, being happy is not as easy and simple as you might think, okay? I once had a client who came into my office. This was the first time I had seen her. And of course I asked her what brought her in. And she said, I was working at someplace in Disney, I think it was. And she said, I saw a bunch of happy people. So I'm here because I want to get me some of that. And I thought, what a great goal, all right? She had never been happy in her life. She had the life history from hell, all right? So ask yourself, where in my body is this feeling? In my chest? Is it taking my breath away? Is it making me feel like I can't breathe? Is it in my throat? Sometimes words get stuck in our throat and we can't quite get them out. Or is it in my stomach and giving me the proverbial stomach ache? All right. There's an author named Louise Hay, who I'm sure many of you have heard of. And she wrote several books about the connection between mind and body. And if you'd like to look up somebody who wrote some very entertaining and useful stuff, you can check out Louise Hay. She's quite famous. All right, so what thoughts am I having that might help me understand what's going on? I have a tightness in my stomach that I can't explain. What thoughts am I having that could be going on to contributing to that? Well, I could be thinking about my ex, all right? I could be angry or sad or mad or scared. Do I have any judgments on the thoughts that I have? One of my pet peeves in this world is I will have people say to me often, and growing up I can remember people saying it, I shouldn't feel that way. There is no should about feelings, okay? Feelings are not good or bad, they simply are, okay? And they're messengers, they're useful. Well, you know, I shouldn't be angry at so-and-so. After all, he or she did this and that for me. Well, so-and-so may have done all those things, and that's really nice. But if you're angry about 10 other things, that's perfectly okay, too. All right? So there's no should about feelings. All right? Am I having any urges to suppress, move away from, run away from these feelings, and why? And again, it's probably the negative feelings that we want to run away from. Anger, fear, okay? And remember, we talked a few weeks ago about families that can tolerate only some emotions. There are families who can let you have happy emotions. You can be happy, you can be excited about your school activities, etc. But if you're angry or sad, we send you to your room so you can work those things out by yourself. Okay, what a terrible message to a
Yeah.
kid, you know? All of the emotions have to be welcome here. Now, step 2. Once you figure out where in your body you feel the emotion and you give it a name, then you have to stay there with it. Okay, you can't move on right away. Say, okay, did that. No, you have to stay with it. That's step 2. The ability to stay with and accept the feeling in order to process it. All right? Remember that your feelings will not hurt or kill you or anyone else. Okay? It can be a common childhood fear. And when you've had a difficult emotion, say you've been angry toward a parent, sometimes kids get really scared that because they're angry at the parent, something bad is going to happen to the parent. And that belief, I've seen it persist into adulthood. No emotion that you feel is going to affect anybody else until or unless you choose to tell them about it. Okay? So your anger is not dangerous to you or anyone else. If you feel like you're struggling emotionally, take some deep breaths and breathe slowly. That's the first thing. That's Mother Nature's calm down mechanism, all right? And try to be curious about what you're feeling, not saying, oh my God, here's one of those awful emotion things, but kind of like, so, what are you all about? All right? Curious. Is this feeling intolerable? And again, you want to look in your body. Is it giving you a headache? A clenched jaw? If I start to get angry, no matter where I am and how much I can show it, my jaw clenches. Do I have a knot in my stomach? All right? All of those are messages to you. What's intolerable about this emotion? Do I think something bad will happen if I allow this feeling? What? If I'm feeling angry and would like to punch somebody in the nose, I could in fact get in trouble. But you don't have to act on feelings either. You can entertain them, look at them, talk to them, do whatever else you need to do. You don't have to act on them. So you can be angry all you want and you won't necessarily get in trouble. Because I'm very happy to report that you can't go to jail for what you're thinking.
Or fantasizing.
That's right. That's exactly right. So another thing to do is if you're really terrified of an emotion you have, you can say, how bad is it on a scale of 1 to 10? All right? And I think anger is usually about the only one that goes to 10. Sometimes sadness if you've had a recent loss. All right? Step 3. Why might you be having these feelings? Are there any needs that are going unmet for me? Okay, why might I be so upset? Do I feel misunderstood, unheard, disrespected? For openers, why am I so upset? What could be doing this to me?
And I love what you said earlier about how it's trying to tell you something.
Absolutely.
So I think another helpful question could be, what are these feelings trying to tell me?
Right.
What message are they sending?
Right. Yep. Like I say, are there any needs that are going unmet for me? Do I feel misunderstood, unheard, or disrespected? Has a boundary been violated for me by someone? I heard the other day my mother-in-law wants to drop by to see the baby without calling first. Is my boundary being violated? Yes, it is. And you don't have to tolerate that. Okay? Is this emotion triggering childhood memories? And oftentimes that can happen. And one of the favorite questions of good therapists is, when have you felt like this before? All right? Because often that happens. Stage 4. Now you've identified the emotion, you've started to do some work on it, so what are you going to do about it now that you've figured it out? Feeling emotions in a healthy way is the key to psychological well-being. All right? So what might I have to do to address them? You might have to make your unmet needs known. All right? You might be living with people who, are not meeting your needs, who have an obligation to or have promised to, or etc. So you might have to make your needs known. You might have to assert yourself with someone or set a limit. Yes, you do have to call before you drop over. You're welcome to come, but you need to call first. Okay? Express your thoughts and feelings to someone or to yourself through journaling. And if it's not going to be convenient right now to tell off your boss, you can write down your thoughts and feelings in a journal. You can say them to yourself. You can ask someone to stand in for the boss. Okay?
Can do a handwritten letter.
You can do a hint to the boss.
Kidding.
Yes.
Another thing you can do is also a voice record journal or video
Good
journal
idea.
yourself.
Listen, I've been meaning to tell you for years.
And it's awkward at first.
What a
but once
great
you
idea.
Get the hang of it, then it kind of feels like you have somebody there listening,
Yeah.
even though it's just yourself or your future self.
That's a great
Or
idea.
past self.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody or other. Yeah. Okay, but what the message is, that even though we're laughing, is don't keep them inside. Emotions don't like that. And they're kind of like little kids. If you ignore them, they will escalate. Okay? One of the other pieces of advice they give here, I think, is very good. If you're feeling sad, fight any urges to isolate or just sleep, because that won't help anything. Take a walk or talk with someone. Okay? Emotions make life richer. I'll tell you an old ancient story. When the Wizard of Oz movie first came out, the first half of the movie was in black and white. And then when they finally got to Oz, all of a sudden color appeared on the screen. And it was the first time many people had seen color. And of course it was spectacular. So I like to think of emotions as the color coming into a black and white scene. All right?
Nice. All right.
All
That
right.
was some really good research. I hope you guys like this one. Let us know.
Okay. Make friends with those emotions, and whoever tells you you shouldn't have them, argue. You have a right to every one of them.
All right. Great stuff, Margaret.
Okay.
Of course, if you want to get our help personally, you can go to my website, askcraig.net. Sign up for the coaching option that works best for you. I do email coaching and I do Skype. Margaret is, of course, available for Skype coaching.
If you think I can be helpful, please sign up.
And Coach Victoria will continue to train with us.
I'll be here.
But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth,
I'm Coach Margaret.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
and we will talk with you soon. To get my help personally, go to askcraig.net and click on Schedule Coaching and choose the option that works best for you. I do email coaching or Skype. To schedule a coaching with Margaret, click on Margaret on the top of the page and order a Skype with her. For the Knowledge Creative Healing course, click on the link at the top of the page and click Get Started Now.